there. It's just like listening to you. It's just like, I got like 10 things on the go. It's awesome. Oh, I love it. I always like the telling it like it is start. There'll be a countdown coming, and I'm sure we're already live, but I just wait for the countdown. Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Telling It Like It Is. My name is Jade Alberts, the founder of Peer Guidance. We're a purpose before profit group that love giving back and sharing. And if you need anything, just give us a call. Speaking of needing anything, I'm still proud of our sponsorship with our partnership with Osler. And every Tuesday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., you can come down, meet with us, talk about anything business, anything mental health. It's just so important to get out there and ask for help because it's not a sign of weakness. So definitely check out that. And I'll be posting it up in the comments section. But you know what? I am pumped about our conversation today with RetinaLogik. And Abdullah and Julia, how are you today?
I'm doing great, I would say. Thank you for having us here.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's long overdue. We've gotten to know each other over the last, probably close to a year. You obviously ran through the Startup TNT Summit and things like that. So it's been a pleasure. And Julia, how are you today?
Yeah, doing fantastic. Yeah, so excited to be here. This is my first time on a live stream. So yeah, I'm excited for the next half hour.
You got to be extremely nervous then, I bet, hey?
A little bit, yeah.
It's so stressful.
Not as nervous as I thought I'd be. I feel like all the pitch competitions we've done and presentations prepared us for this. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is going to be the easiest thing you're ever going to do all year. All 2024, there's nothing going to be easier than this. Well, I want to kick it off because I love founding stories, and I truly believe that people don't tell them enough, don't talk about it, why you founded it, how you founded it, and you know what, even how you guys became partners to find to found RetinaLogik. So, well, I don't know who wants to kick us off. You guys can decide, but why don't you kind of tell how you met and how you founded RetinaLogik?
Julia, do you want to take this?
Yeah, definitely. I can kick it off. So hi, my name's Julia. And we started RetinaLogik, Abed and I, about I think 5 years ago now. And so yeah, we met at a healthcare focused hackathon called Innovation for Health. So I was studying business and kinesiology at the time, and I was looking for a way where I could kind of apply what I was learning in both sectors to some sort of project that I could sink my teeth into. And so I found Innovation for Health, which is this awesome hackathon where they talk to doctors and nurses, ask them about challenges they have, and ask intersectional groups of students to solve those challenges. And so Abed and I got randomly matched on a team after he got kicked off another team.
You like that, yeah?
She got the boot.
She liked that. So the reason behind was I switched teams is basically that other team, they were working on a product that I was building for someone else. So I had to tell them, okay, guys, there is conflict of interest. I can't work with you. And then I got mapped to Julia's team at that point.
Yeah, that's like the most valid entrepreneur answer. It's like, I'm already building this. Never mind.
That is awesome. See, this is why I love founding stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we ended
do you
up
want to share the Excel sheet?
Yeah, I wanted to do it in Excel because we didn't have a computer science person. So it's like, you know what, we'll figure it out. We'll build it in Excel. But we didn't build in Excel. We got a computer science major on the team. So Abdullah was studying his PhD in machine learning applied to ophthalmology at the time. And yeah, we ended up building a solution and winning that competition and had a lot of fun. And then applied for another healthcare focused challenge and ended up winning that competition as well. And then another one as well, and we ended up winning that one. So we realized, we work really well together as a team and have a lot of shared values and love solving healthcare challenges. And Abdullah, like I mentioned, he was studying in his PhD applied in machine learning applied to ophthalmology. And so he was visiting all these glaucoma clinics and he saw this big machine. And you might be familiar with this, Jade, the big fax machine. It's not actually a fax machine, but a big machine, fax machine-esque. And he realized that, this key diagnostic is not portable, it's heavy, and it takes up a lot of room in these clinics. And so he was like, Julia, I think I could build the same thing on virtual reality, and I think it could help a lot of people. What do you think? And that's when we started, like
Yeah.
five-ish years ago.
I think around that, I would say we started like, I was like trying to capture images, and I saw people suffering with that machine, and I said like, yeah, we could do it. We started with a prototype, showed it to a couple of ophthalmologists, optometrists, and then start like rolling with it slowly as we're moving forward. And then with Julia, we said like, let's work together because we do have lots of shared values and alignment of a couple of the stuff that we really believe in them and the drive through for what you're building on. So fast forward till now, basically, we're a team. We're a big team. I would say we're across the country in that regard. People seems like it, and as you mentioned, like when you start early, you iterate a lot. You listen to your customers. You see what you can improve, what you can enhance. But it's been a great process, I would say, so far.
Well, that's good. I would actually expect you to say that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd probably take this conversation in a whole different way.
No, it's been good. I would say we've learned a lot. You learn a lot. Building a company, I would say, it's some, especially if you're aligned on the values. It's something fruitful, in my opinion.
Well, before we dive into the product itself, I just want to expand on that a little bit because we do have a lot of partners that come on this show that business partners that have met, have done it. Some have had to part ways, some have had to had their struggles. There's a whole, you can run a big gauntlet. So what do you think has been your success? I know you say values, but maybe you can expand on that a bit more and talk about, well, maybe Julia looks after this and Abid, you look after this. Like, how do you think, why do you think that you've been able to become such a good team?
100%. I think one of the main thing that I truly believe in is when you look at the vision and the goal, what you're trying to build, and whenever there's a challenge, whenever there is like a downside or something, when you look at that, it's like revive you, like say, okay, yeah, we can do it, we can build it. And when you surround with yourself with people who supporting you, with the community, especially here in Calgary, we're surrounded like pretty great community here that's really like push you forward and like really support you, provide services with you. I think that's been helpful. So the main two things that or three things I would say is the community, your team, and your vision. I would say that's basically what thrive you to keep building it and have the grit to keep pushing for it. Did I miss anything, Julia, here?
No, I think absolutely. Yeah, the shared vision and seeing it as like, it is literally a marriage. Like it's, and taking the approach of like you're on this as a team kind of thing. And that mindset, I think, yeah, definitely has been a key to our success, and that shared vision, and also a lot of foosball games too. Having fun, I think, is also
Yeah, I never was able to beat Julia in football so far, but I'm learning. I'm building my way.
Well, I think something that you just said, having fun, is also
Yeah,
part of it. I mean, there are obviously serious parts and time to get down, and I'm sure there's been some, we'll call them healthy conversations over the last 5-ish or so years. But you have to enjoy each other's. You have to have fun. It has to
yeah.
be enjoyable. If it stops getting enjoyable, that's where in the past I've seen a lot of business partners really fall apart.
No, I agree. I agree with that. Like having fun, understanding each other, supporting each other. I think it's a key component. And also, as you go, you grow up as well. Like by how you perceive stuff and how you see stuff and how you change about some of the stuff. So all of this is like a process that you go through. But the key is support each other and like be able to uh, help each other. I would say through that process.
No, that's awesome. And,
Yeah.
and I totally agree with all of that. And for anybody that's just tuning in, again, I'm talking with Julia and Abdullah, the founders of RetinaLogik. RetinaLogik.com is their website. You can just click on it in the comment section. So why don't we talk? I mean, you said, I'm actually, Julia, to be quite honest, I'm surprised you know what a fax machine is. I mean, I know it. I mean, I used to get my POs back in the old sales days on fax machines. So they were a lifeline for me. But I mean, again, I mean, I go to my optometrist. I love my optometrist because he always books. He's doing his MBA at Haskell in business, so he always sets a little time aside and we have a 15-minute conversation about what's going on, business, investing, and it's actually quite fun. But I do know that tank of a machine that you're talking about. So why don't you? What I mean, we heard a little bit about why you created this. So why don't you talk about what your product can do right now, how it works? I mean, and you can talk about some of the things that didn't work in the past or challenges that you have to overcome to get where you are. We'll talk about where you're going to go a little bit later, but let's focus on that right now.
100%, I would say. So yeah, a fax machine. I think Julia worked in pharmacy as well, so she knows.
Yeah. I
Well,
think they still use fax machines,
They
actually.
do. I still can't believe that.
yeah, like it's annoying. So one of the main things with those like big machines, I would say, is they are pretty outdated. They still use floppy disks. People need to put their chin on the ball whenever they see a stimuli. They need to press a clicker. People with neck and back pain, senior people with mobility issues, they have challenges with those exams. Some people may spend 1 hour they wanna because they have to repeat the exam multiple times. Others may spend less time, but they always get unreliable result because they lose attention, they lose focus. I would say with those machines. So what we said, okay, can we do those exams on virtual reality instead? And when we started with like a basic prototype where basically you have specific stimulus with the background and you start iterate on that as we move forward. So instead of that machine, you basically have now a device, a VR headset, you put it on your head. You have multiple languages on that. You don't really need to explain to the patient what they need to do, especially with for patient with language barriers. And you are able to monitor the results anywhere throughout your clinic, or if you're at home or like any place you want through access to a browser, I would say. That's basically where the machine is. But it doesn't stop here. Like on our platform, we have 4 different exams now. Like visual field is only one of them, but there are like more. And the goal of that is not only just keep adding exam. The goal of that is basically being able to provide insights for the clinic. So a clinic did an exam. Okay, what's next? What can we provide insights? What can we help them in like expediting the decision making process or like improving the decision making process for clinics and for patients? And this is very important in our opinion and based on our interaction from with clinics because it helps them increase like enhance the patient care experience and also provide better services for their customers for patients and also to provide improving access to vision screening. So now you don't need a $45,000 plus a room plus someone to keep monitoring those exams plus maintenance on a yearly basis. You could just do it in the waiting area, do the exam, and then keep moving forward for the patients. So that's basically I would say the general idea about the product and where it lies. And one of the big advantages of it is basically rural areas and developing world, which basically one of the main shared values between Julia and I, because of the huge impact that could make for people who doesn't have access to those machines as well, to those such exams, because those exams are pretty important to be able to map functional changes in your vision. So that's like when it comes to the product and general overview. When it comes to challenges, I will start on the technical one, but I will pass it to Julia to speak about the operational and the business component. But when it comes to technical, like we went through multiple phases. Like our platform now, I think is the 5th version or 5th iteration, and we followed like an approach where we worked really closely with the customer. So we deployed it in clinics, we listened to them, we were able like to iterate with them. That's one. Second, when it comes to the reliability of the exam, we actually focus on more a research focused approach. How we can publish more research, how we can collaborate with KOLs in the country that can help and test this technology to make sure it's reliable. And that's by itself help the product to iterate like 3 times. Because when it comes to virtual reality, you need to make sure you're using the proper technology, the proper structure, I would say there, to be able to get the most reliable results. But I will pass it to Julia now to see if there is anything you want to share as well here.
Yeah, I think I really love the product too and what it does. And even like you mentioned, just the visual fields, there's so many benefits to it too. Um, it being portable, saving space in the clinic, and even like there's tiny things you mentioned that can be expanded into so many other things that we know and have heard from feedback from customers too and patients. And I want to highlight one thing you mentioned too about how if the patient's comfortable, the results, they can stay focused in theory for longer. And we even had a patient reach out, like she found me on LinkedIn just to DM me to tell me that she was so happy that someone made this and to thank us for making this kind of thing because she usually gets nervous going in for this test and she actually went in and got she's usually expecting the big machine and she's expecting to be uncomfortable and she's expecting to um, be anxious and try to force herself to stay focused for the entire test, which can be really difficult. And this time she went in and it was a completely new experience. Like she went in, they put on the virtual reality headset and she was able to stay more focused during the test. It actually spoke to her during the test. So it says, like, hey, like you're doing great, like keep it up, like you're almost there, you're halfway there. And she was done within like 10 minutes. And it was a completely new experience. So I feel like yeah, we have a lot of shared values when it comes to impact. And then I think we're also having a lot of impact with customers just in the clinic who expect to be uncomfortable in the clinic and they no longer have to do that anymore. So I really wanted to highlight that. Sorry, I went a bit off track.
No, no, but I think that's something I think it's something very important that you talked about, and I know all the people that we've worked with in the past with peer guidance and whoever is number one, getting it out there. You said you're on your fifth iteration already. You've listened to what the clients want, and the clients will tell you what they want and need. And if you're not listening to clients, you wouldn't even be here to have the second iteration. You just,
100%.
and I mean that's such an important lesson for people to know. Get your product out there, get it in the hands of the people that are going to be using it, and listen to that feedback. Don't be scared that it's not ready, it's not perfect, it's not. I mean, that's such an important part, and I'm sure I would love you to expand on. I mean, that is probably why you're where you are today.
Yeah, like our first product, like I still have it actually somewhere. That some if when I use it, like like it wasn't like user interaction wasn't the best, I would say. And I that helped me actually to see like where we were, where we are now with our product, with the user experience, with the advancement, with the enhancement from user interaction. It actually like build or give you more motivation and like more confidence in what you're building because you could see the life cycle of your product, how it was, how it is now, and what the potential of it to be if you keep iterating and doing the same process. I would say with the product.
And I wouldn't even be scared to take all the iterations that you have and put them on your table at your trade show to show people that, right? Like, I
Yeah,
think it's important to, when people come up and you tell them, I've got this really good product that can do 4 tests right now, but, here's where we started and this is where we're going, down the road even to make it better. People love to see that you're always there. You're always, and especially if they want to be, you can be telling them that, listen, we want you to use this. We want your feedback. Even to this day, we want to make it better.
100%. Like even the device we first used, I don't think is being sold anymore. So I still like try to maintain it and like have it like this is the first device we've used and like just put it aside so we can have it in confidence. It's like this is how it was, this is how it is, and this is how it can be in the future.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think it's so important, right? And I know, guys, as you guys have grown as as a company and raised and some capital, you've just concluded your raise. You won the startup TNT summit, so congrats on that. And you've talked about the community here in Alberta, about how collaborative, how great it is, and we talk about this every week. So I mean, I've had people on here talk about, oh my God, how tough it is to raise, how there is no money, how is it? And I always say that's horseshit. I said, if you're ready and you're out there and you're a good company and you're ready for that capital injection, it will be there for you. So I wouldn't mind touching a little bit on this process. the pros, the cons, and why you think that you guys were able to secure a little bit of capital from investors around Canada.
100%. Gila, do you want to take?
Yeah. I think that we were ready to get that capital injection because we had just recently. It was really good timing for our company. We were at an inflection point, and I think we were at an inflection point that investors then started generating like KPIs that investors wanted to see. So we had accomplished a lot with our product, accomplished a lot with building initial kind of pilots with and engagements with optometrists and ophthalmologists. And so we were ready for that capital injection to move us to that next phase. I think a lot of investors in Canada were kind of hesitant at that time. It wasn't the best time for investment, but they were still obviously out there and looking for good companies. And I think what made us stood out is that we had a really good product and really good validation of the product. And then we also had a clear revenue path, essentially.
Yeah, like I would second Julia on that. Like what we had last year in terms of product really like set us apart, I would say, and like makes like people trust in it and the strategy we built for that. And being able to be supported by more like a medical community, like with Halo Health, I would say that helped building more the trust and more the reliability of it, because we do have our KOLs that boosted the trust, but having the community of doctors and that's coming from backed by doctors as well, that helped in pushing the raise and pushing like the investments in that regards. So that's, I would say, one of the reasons as well, in addition to the product success and the validation that's been there. We do understand the market was a little bit tough last year, but when you have a good product, when you have good sales, when you have good team as well and support from the community, you would be able to match and like be able to raise the money that you want to be able to do or like hit your next milestones.
Listen, I mean, anybody that's out there is always using that. In my opinion, it's an excuse that it's tough to raise capital. The reason, like what you talked about, the points that you mentioned, that you had a product, you've reiterated it, you had clients, you had growth, you were hitting KPIs that investors want to invest in. And whether it is a tough environment out there or not,
Yeah.
those are things that investors want to see. And that's, why you guys are, were able to raise some funds to really start you to run now. So again, when we talk to people, I'm always like, no one's just going to give you money for an idea. This isn't the United States. This isn't the Valley. You have to show that you're willing, you're trustworthy. I have to believe in you as founders. And then of course, if you're going after fund money, well, they're looking for metrics. They're not so much worried about the founder side of it as the KPIs are. So the points that you made, I think people really have to listen to if they're going to go out there and raise capital.
I agree with you, and like people like shouldn't be afraid of sales as well. Like sales, I think is a big component. Like go do it. Like you mentioned something in the podcast, like your product doesn't need to be perfect. Just go get it out there and just get that feedback and start integrating with people. People will start interacting with you, especially like in the community here, like in Alberta, I would say, like the optometrists here or like across Canada, they are willing to support a new technology and help you and like provide you the feedback and like the early adopters component. So yeah, my I would say one of the advice I would give out there, don't be afraid of going and doing some sales just to get that feedback. Even in the very early stages, it shows some traction and it builds confidence with investors when you want to raise.
Well, and the investors now know that you're not scared to knock on doors.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, that's such an important part. I mean, people are like, oh, I can get out there and sell. Sales is hard. Sales is difficult. Like you're going to get a ton of no's. Like it is not easy. And the sooner you get out there, the better off you are to understand, what people will want to see in your product.
Yeah, and it's all about experimentation. Like you go out there, you have 5, 6 different paths, you experiment with them. But if you want to wait until the product is done to start experimenting, you're already losing time with that one. Experimenting by itself may take like 2, 3 months. So just put it out there, and then from that data, you can start building your sales engine. You can start building your team. You can do like all those type of things that comes along. But you need to start somewhere. Don't be scared of it, I would say.
Yeah.
And don't underestimate sales, the power of sales as well. Like, I think sometimes it's being underestimated. Yeah, I think you should push for it, and learn how to move fast with it as well, with the product.
Julia, you were going to say something?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say as well, like something that I personally struggled with was when we were starting sales is like wanting to feel like the process was perfect, I guess. So I wanted to give some advice to someone listening. If you're getting ready to start sales and you're like, okay, I have like my entire customer experience mapped out, which is not a bad thing. But you will be able to map out that customer experience if you just go out there and knock on a door, as opposed to trying to come up with it ahead of time. And I swear it's much easier, although it's much scarier. You're like, I don't know what I haven't thought of yet, or what if they have a bad experience or like potentially leave a bad review. Just remember that you're building a relationship with the customer by talking to them, and just be honest and kind, and I'm sure you won't mess up greatly through that sales process, and you'll refine it from there. So yeah, in summary, it's much easier to go out there, write down in 10 minutes kind of what those steps look like, and then go out there and test out those steps, and then you can come back and refine those steps. You don't have to think of everything before you go and knock on that door.
Oh, so true. I mean, as a guy who dropped out of university and became a salesman, I mean, it is definitely something that I know the process, and I love the process, right? And I mean, again, it is no two sales calls are the same, and taking those notes and taking down the questions that people are asking you, so you can improve that process. As you say, it refines itself over and over and over again. And it's so important to learn that, and to learn it early. And it is something that, again, within peer guidance, it's something that we preach. It has to be done. I mean, you have to learn it as founders and understand that. So when you go hire somebody and you're like, okay, I know I've got this. These are the questions that we've asked. Here's how we handle them, and prepare the person that you hire for success, because you don't want that to turn over, because that capital that you raised will be, you can burn through that pretty quickly with people, bad hires.
I 100% agree with that one. And when it comes to the medical field, especially, I know we have this idea that, okay, people in medical, they may be less strict in adopting new technology. But when you start putting yourself out there are so many KOL that are willing to support. Like, even here in Calgary or Alberta in general, like, there are ophthalmologists, optometrists, clinicians, like, they're already willing to support and like push and help you to push a new technology, and then be able like to guide you through it, I would say.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I totally agree. And I'm glad. I mean, watching you guys, you've had, obviously great support when we talk about it through the LSIH and USEED and Innovate Calgary and Nick and everybody that's around you. So there's always people there to reach out when you need a little bit, ask for help. So, again, talk about how great our community is.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there's someone like people like Nick, Innovate Calgary, the people you've mentioned, all of them as well. Look, like, there are so many people who like really support and push forward. And I do remember like our first meeting, like I think it was last year, even, like, we want to start like speaking, and you said like, whatever you need support, whenever you need help, let's meet. And we met a couple times. So there are like, I think the community is pretty big on help and supporting. You just need to put yourself out there.
Well, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Again, I'm talking with Julia and Abdullah, founders of RetinaLogik. RetinaLogik.com is their website. Click on it in the comment section to find out more. So why don't what's next? What is next for you guys? Let's maybe one of you can talk a little bit more short term, maybe the next year, and then maybe a little more long term.
Maybe.
Yeah, I can jump in for the short term, and then pass off the long term to Abed. Short term, we're across Canada, so we're selling across Canada and potentially beyond. But we're focusing on sales really for the next year or so, and we're looking to build our team as well. We're really excited to build our team out and hire more people. And we're already starting to build our family. So we're our family. So we're focused on building out our team and our corporate culture, and building out sales as well.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's you hit it, Julia. There, like that's like what we're working on now. As a long term, there is lots of stuff that you do on the technology. Yeah, and there are like totally new markets that you could open. It just comes into stages and how you want to approach those markets and start opening them, starting with optometrists and ophthalmologists. But there are like more than like 20 exams that could be done on virtual reality itself, and you can start innovate with that. In addition to that, the insight component, that's a pretty big one that's actually really clinics looking forward for, and that's what we're looking for actually on the long term, to be able to integrate those multiple data points to provide better insights for clinics as we move forward.
No, I love it. 20 exams. Woo!
Yeah,
Yeah,
around
one platform. Yeah.
That's impressive. I love that. I mean, I can't wait to see more and more and more of it. And I mean, you guys got something, that's obviously really good here. And I see, no pun intended, the changes that it's making in the industry.
Yeah, it's a new technology, I would say. That's the thing. And it's just going to keep getting better and better as we move forward because of the advancement happening, especially in the virtual reality field.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm always sad when our conversations, come to a close because, God, it's been, a fantastic. I love sharing your story. Thank you for coming on. But I do have one last question, and again, I've asked this, 320-ish plus times, and I love hearing the advice that great entrepreneurs like yourself give. So, we'll start with you. If you had one piece of advice for a founder or entrepreneur, what would that be?
Wow, that's a good question, I would say. I would say move fast and don't be scared of risks.
I like
Just
it.
just take risks. And even if that would mean you'll fail, just pull yourself up and move fast. I would say that's one of the main advice I would give there.
Nice. I love it. I love it. If you're not failing, you're not trying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Julia, yourself?
I would say keep going. Like it's a long path, and everyone knows it's not easy, but I think the every single person who has made it as an entrepreneur kept going. That is the one thing that all of them did. I think keep going. If I could squeeze in one more thing too, I think it's not the best tagline, but being intellectually honest. I think with yourself, because I think I run into places where I run into challenges personally is where I'm like overthinking a process or overthinking like talking yourself out of something when it's like, you could just go and you could just go do it. Like just go try it. And I think that ties in perfectly with the don't be afraid to fail. So also don't be afraid to be honest with yourself and just go do that thing that you're scared to do.
Well, isn't that the truth, right? Those are great pieces of advice. And I think, talking right here beforehand, this gentleman, right? We were, saying, you use the tagline, just do it.
Yeah.
And here we are beforehand talking about, why I liked Michael Jordan so much. He was, the first person to think outside and ask for percentage of profits, and no athlete was ever doing that before, right? It's just, just go, just do it. It is something that, I mean, you just never know what's going to be out there and how things are going to roll until you get out there and start asking, start trying, and start doing. So I love those pieces of advice. Thank you for sharing that.
Well, thank you.
No, again, and for anybody that wants any more information, just click on the comment section. RetinaLogik is in there. Obviously, click on the comment section to sign up for any of the help that Peer Guidance and Osler will supply Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. I mean, we're there, we're helping. Any advice that you need, whether it be business growth, raising, IP, grants. I mean, there's so many things out there. And again, thank you guys so much, Abdullah and Julia, for coming on, sharing your story. I'm excited about being along this journey with you. It's been fun to watch you two grow, and we're always here for you. So, enjoy the rest of your week, and I hope you enjoy your Wednesday as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jay.
Awesome. Thank you
I
so
hope
much.
everybody has a great day. We will chat soon. Take care. Bye-bye.